Okay, so to record this video, the Denver Nuggets have beaten the Miami Heat in the NBA Finals to win the NBA championship. And like I was saying when this series happened, they was going to win in 4 or 5. And yes, this Denver Nuggets team won in 5 games, and Nikola Jokic has become the Finals MVP. Now, there's a couple of points I'll make about this Nuggets team, as this team really had a fantastic run, and I'm going to talk about Jokic and what this team can do going forward. Okay, so first about Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic is by far cemented himself as the best player in the NBA now. Nikola Jokic had an insane run. During this playoff run, he averaged 30.1 points, 13.3 rebounds, 9.8 assists on 54, 46, 80 splits. That is insane for a player, especially Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic during this series, they went against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Phoenix Suns, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Miami Heat. And Nikola Jokic dominated in all those series. Jokic plays the game so slow and smart that it makes it, some of the stuff he does is just insane. Jokic's touch around the rim is, when Jokic put up a layup, I think it's going every time, because Jokic just has insane touch around the rim. Jokic is also not a bad defender. People always talk about his defense and how he's so bad of a defender, that people had AD dominating Jokic. People had Bam Adebayo dominating Jokic as well. And yes, they did their job, but they didn't do the dominance that I've heard people thought they were doing on Twitter. Nikola Jokic played decent defense against the team. And then on the other side of the floor, when people thought that AD would be able to defend Jokic, couldn't do it. The Miami Heat fans really thought Bam Adebayo will be able to stop Nikola Jokic, and they could not stop Jokic. They arguably could have swept this whole series. They lost the game by 3 points in game 2, and that's how I knew the Lakers won the series, because the Heat played the best game they could have played in that game, and they only won by 3 points. I knew the Nuggets team would win this series in 5 or 6, and it just showed. Nikola Jokic dominated the series, and he is the best player in the league. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. Nikola Jokic is an insane playmaker. He is a top 5 playmaker of all time, top 10 minimum, top 10 maximum. There is no doubt when you watch this series that you do not feel like Nikola Jokic dominated the NBA and is the best player in the league. He is the best player in the league. After this series, after this playoff run, he is the best player in the league. No team could stop Nikola Jokic. They try to, but Nikola Jokic has so much playmaking gravity that it's hard to really stop what he's doing. Nikola Jokic has playmaking gravity, and when you try to guard the playmaking, you forget he can also score. He's a good post scorer. He's a good 3-point shooter. He is just good at everything all around. The only thing lacking on Jokic is his defensive side, which, yes, is true. Jokic is not as good of a defender as he could be, but Jokic is still a decent defender. Jokic is not that bad of a defender as people make him out to be, because he's not. Jokic is a decent defender. Jokic has cemented himself as the best player in the league after this series, after this playoff run, and he was already creeping up there for me anyways during this regular season, but I was biased towards Giannis. But after what I've seen from Jokic this season, this playoff run, Jokic is the best player in the league, and Jokic has secured himself as a Finals MVP, and he is in an area where 2 MVPs and 1 Finals MVP. He is in an area of sinners. He is in the area of all-time greats, where you just cannot say that Jokic is not one of the best players of all time. You cannot say that. As he has the stuff he's been doing these past couple of seasons, Jokic just has that. He is the best player in the league. Now I'm gonna talk about the Nuggets. Well, yes, I feel like the Nuggets can come back to the NBA Finals next season. Now, yes, we talk about that about every single team that makes their one appearance, because right now we're on a string of 1 appearance, 1 championship run that we're on right now. But still, I feel like the Nuggets team, this team is consistently the best player, can consistently be the best team in the league and consistently make deep playoff runs. As Jamal Murray, which, yes, I am going to take back what I said earlier this season, because I didn't believe that Jamal Murray will return to what he was in the bubble, and I'm glad he proved me wrong, because I like when NBA players prove me wrong and show that they're still as good as they used to be. Jamal Murray played arguably better or the same than he played in the bubble. Jamal Murray's run was insane, and it was so good to see him win a championship, as he missed the past 2 postseasons with an ACL injury, and I doubted Jamal Murray. I did. And I didn't think he would return to what he was in 2020, because the ACL injury drastically changes how people play, which, yes, in today's era, in today's time, it's very easy to come back from ACL injury and still play how you played, but it's still some type of doubt I had in Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray is a good duo for Nikola Jokic. The dribble handoffs they was running this finals was insane, because Jamal Murray and Jokic have insane chemistry, where they know where their spots are, they know who to go to at the time. When Jamal Murray's hot, Jokic doesn't hand the ball, Jokic doesn't dominate the ball, he give it to Jokic, dribble hand up, allow Murray to get open. When Murray sees that Jokic is hot, he allows Jokic to plays. They have good chemistry. They're a good duo. If Jamal Murray can play how he played this playoffs in the regular season, he could be a top point guard right now, but he's not. So don't let recency bias have you have Jamal Murray up there as a top 20 player or a top 10 player, because he's not in that area yet. But I believe that Jamal Murray can be in that area if he plays like how he played in the playoffs in the regular season, which is semi hard for him to sustain for some reason. But if you can elevate your play in the playoffs, that still is good. So I'm not asking Jamal Murray to play in the regular season. If he can't do it, that's fine. But I still want to basically sustain this level of play. For the Nuggets to come back to where they was this season, he needs to sustain level of play, and he needs to play like how he played. Now I'm going to get to the Nuggets role players. The role players did their job and exceeded expectations. Aaron Gordon, who I always love on this team. When Aaron Gordon got on the Nuggets, I love on this team because when he was on Magic, he's a good cutter, he's a good dunker. So for Jokic to have a cutter like that, I love Aaron Gordon on this team. When Aaron Gordon was first on this team, I watched a lot of Nuggets games because I love Aaron Gordon on this team. I just do. So Aaron Gordon is a good defensive piece of this team. He's also a good cutter, and he knows what Jokic is going to do, and he knows how to cut. Bruce Brown is a very underrated player for this team. I love Bruce Brown. When I was watching a lot of Nuggets games this season, and I watched Bruce Brown, I love how he played, and he stepped up in game. He stepped up in game 4, and he allowed him to win that game. Him and AG, they both stepped up in the games. Now KCP, a good 3-point shooter. They had so many pieces and so many role players that played their role. Now, yes, they had some ups and downs, as some players would miss some threes. aka Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. was really a double agent some of this series, but in game 5 he played good, and he really helped his team win. So I like this Denver Nuggets team, as I think they can come back and win, and they can come back to the finals or make another deep postseason run, because the way this team is constructed and the way this team is built, this team can make another finals run. This team can win another championship. That's not out of the blue for this team. This team is really good, and I like watching this team play. This team is very dominant. This team was very dominant offensively. There was a very good offensive dominant team, and yes, they have some defensive problems as they did in the season, but the defensive problems wasn't really an issue this series, as when they played the Heat, they was guarding Jimmy Butler very well. Even though Jimmy didn't have not a good series he usually has, they guarded Jimmy really good. They guarded the 3-point shooters really well. Sometimes they did it with me mad because I don't like how when they run a pick and roll, the Nuggets players don't step up on the 3-point shooter and they allow shooters to be open. Also, they allow Duncan Robinson and Gabe Vincent to have too many floaters and too many shots in the paint. But besides that, the Nuggets team played really good defensively. They really did. And I love the Nuggets team. I love this team. I'm going to be watching way more Nuggets team than I did last season. Not because they won a championship, but because I just really like this team. This team is just really good. And I believe they can come back and win another championship. It's not out of the blue for that team. This team can't come back and win another deep postseason. That's all for this video. Next is going to be talking about the Miami Heat and what they can do to really improve this roster, as the Miami Heat had a really good run. And they congratulations to them because they was the underdog in every single series they played. People still have the Knicks beating them. So I congratulate Miami Heat, and I congratulate them for making the NBA Finals. But in the end of the day, the better team beat them, and Nikola Jokic is now the best player in the NBA.